Hi everyone, my name is Katie Ganser, and I am here today to talk to you about homeless youth and the role of libraries. Defined by the U.S. government as people under age 25, youth make up about 7% of the United States homeless population. Although it is difficult to know the exact number of youth who experience homelessness, it is estimated that 1.7 million youth will be without a home for at least one night during the year. Being homeless isn't always obvious to the outside observer, but it does affect every aspect of a young person's life. Schooling is often disrupted as families move around, access to health care is limited, homeless youth are at risk of developing depression and other mental health problems, as well as developing substance abuse. Homeless youth have a unique set of needs that differ from their peers, and libraries can help with some of them. First is the need for a safe space in which to spend their time. Especially in areas where the weather is a factor, finding a warm or cool place to be for a while can be difficult. Shelter is a basic human need and is often the most immediate need for homeless youth. A second need is access to the internet. Libraries may be the only place homeless youth have to get online. The internet is a way for homeless youth to stay in touch with family and friends and allows them to maintain some relationships with people in their lives. The internet also allows homeless youth to find resources in their community that can help them, like housing, education, employment, and social services. The internet is also sometimes used by homeless youth to reach out in times of crisis. A third and maybe less obvious need is simply a compassionate library staff. Taking time to understand the unique needs of homeless youth and helping them find the information they need without judgment is so important. We must remember that just like every other patron group, each homeless youth has a unique background and a unique set of needs. Unfortunately, there are barriers to service for homeless youth that they need to overcome in the library. First of all, the policies. Policies of the public library are not developed with homeless users in mind. In fact, many would say the opposite. Many would say that policies are created that are welcoming to those who can arrive showered, rested, well-fed, and interested in the library only as a resource. Some examples of policies that limit accessibility for homeless youth include limiting the amount of time they can be on the internet or computers, the size and amount of bags they're allowed to bring into the library, and whether or not they are able to sleep. A specific policy that is a barrier for homeless youth is the requirement many libraries have that in order to get a library card, a person must show proof of address and a photo ID, two things homeless youth often do not have. Along with this, libraries often require a card for users to be on the computer. Together, these two policies can keep useful information and materials away from the homeless youth who desperately need them. Many times, if homeless youth are able to get a card at all, fines and lost materials can keep them from being able to use it. Due dates and returning books are simply not a priority for people who do not have their basic needs met. Sometimes homeless youth need to leave a place they are staying quickly, and library materials may get left behind. So what can libraries do to help? Start by looking at your policies. Flexibility and understanding can go a long way. Relax the proof of address requirement for homeless youth. It may not be possible in every case because you don't always know that the person approaching you is homeless, but if a youth is willing to make themselves vulnerable enough to confide in you that they are homeless, finding a way to help them would really go a long way. Maybe relax your policy on sleeping. Homeless youth may not have another place they feel safe enough to sleep, even for half an hour. We're not saying that you should change and allow people to sleep for 8 hours in your library, but a half an hour cat nap might be just enough to get them through the day. Allow access to computers without a library card. You could supply day passes for computer use, computer-only cards, internet-only cards, or simply eliminate the need for a card altogether when it comes to computer use. Homeless youth often do not want people to know that they are homeless, and even though they need information, they may not feel comfortable asking for it. Adding links to your website about resources for homeless youth on both the teen and adult pages is an easy way to supply them with information in a way that might be more comfortable for them than waiting for them to approach you. Librarians can create programs aimed at homeless youth as well. Programs about finding information online or employment programs will help older homeless youth, while literacy programs for the whole family can benefit younger homeless youth. By tailoring programs specifically to them, librarians are showing homeless families and youth that you understand their needs and that you want to help them. A good reminder in general is that providing good youth programs will draw in homeless youth if they know about them. They want to experience things just like their peers, and a fun program is a fun program. Another way to help homeless youth without them needing to ask is by registering your library as a safe place through a nationwide initiative. The Safe Place program offers library support and training for members who want to offer better service for the homeless in their community. A sign is placed on your door that lets homeless people know that they are welcome there and that you are there to help them. An easy thing that library staff can do is simply treat homeless youth who choose to spend their time at the library with respect. A basic tenet and the core of public library service is that people are treated the same and that access is for everyone. And just by practicing that in your day-to-day and in your interactions with homeless youth, you are giving them the respect that they deserve and that they need and that they seek. Outreach services are absolutely necessary when working with homeless youth. Librarians who work with this population have to go to them rather than wait for them to come to the library, because many simply just will not come. Visiting shelters is one way to reach out. Librarians can offer programs that are similar to those that they already offer in the library. They can offer story times for younger homeless youth, which can be beneficial for their early literacy skills. By modeling those literacy skills for the adults in the shelter, they can take those skills that they've seen done and help their children gain necessary skills for future success. Another easy way to reach out to shelters is through creating collections for use at the shelter. You can use donations and withdrawn materials, so if they never come back, it doesn't matter. Collections give people in the shelters access to materials they might not have otherwise, access to more books to read and more books to share with each other. Collections in shelters also give you a place to publicize programs and library services. This can inform people in the shelter about what the library can do for them and shows them that they're an important part of what you're doing and that you want to help them. A third important part of outreach is partnerships with local organizations. These can be extremely beneficial when working with homeless youth. Social service agencies, shelters, social workers, food kitchens, all of these workers in these places already have relationships with homeless youth and can help the librarian establish a connection. It also allows you to share the work with someone else, to get ideas from someone else, and to see what someone else is doing that is already working for them. I would like to conclude today by sharing a couple of examples of libraries who are doing really good work with their homeless population. First of all, the Seattle Public Library. The youth services staff of the Seattle Public Library held a county-wide training for youth service librarians where they invited teens who had experienced homelessness to come in and speak to the librarians. These teens shared their needs and their wants and the ways that they thought the library could help them. The training also inspired new programs both inside the library and new outreach efforts by the librarians, including open mic nights and registration days at local shelters. The Denver Public Library has an excellent section on their teen website with links to multiple resources for homeless youth. They also held a staff training day that taught staff both how to better serve homeless youth, but also taught them about the local resources that they can use to then help homeless youth who come into their library. A Denver Public Library also hired a social worker as part of their staff to serve the needs of their patron, including their homeless youth. Although not every library is going to be able to do that, and not every library is going to be able to do things as big as these two libraries have, with slight policy changes, libraries can be the safe, open, welcoming place that homeless youth so desperately need. Librarians are set up to help them find the resources they need and have a knowledge of the resources that are available to them in the community that the homeless youth may benefit from. Libraries are truly one of the few places left that people can spend time without needing to have a reason, and where homeless youth can be welcomed with open arms. Thank you very much for listening today. I have included a slide of my resources if anyone would like to learn more about anything I've talked about today. Thank you.